Pastor Tim Mangala here, the Reverend of the Revolution. Welcome to Your Daily Revolution. Today's topic, Happy New Year 2019 and how to move into the new year with power. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. What an amazing holiday season Tim I had with my family. It was really unplugged. Not a lot of podcasts, not a ton of work, but a lot of thought process, a lot of reflection, recalibration, rejoicing, just like being unplugged and present. Wherever you are with your holiday season, it is now time in 2019. This is the first podcast of 2019. So I just did a call with my coaching class, and I wanted to share a little bit here to help each one of you. Look, the purpose of the revolution is to help you to live your prosperous life, your greatest life, to be happy, to be wealthy. And happiness is the true measure of wealth. And I can guarantee if you are financially poor, you are not happy. Therefore, you are not wealthy. And if you are emotionally and relationally bankrupt, you are not happy. So it requires this whole person concept. We call it the big four: the physical, the spiritual, the relational, the financial. Your fitness, your health, your purpose, your spirituality, your faith, your connection to a higher power, purpose, or God. Your relationships, like the meaning and the depth and the breadth of your marriage, your children, or if you're not married or you don't have children, the people that you're closest to, family, and of course the finances. This is your money. This is your bank account. This is your income. Right? This is, for some of you, it's going to be that retirement, that this money that you're saving to invest and that's going to take you through till you go 6 feet under. And I wanted to share a few thoughts with you that will help you at this time to jumpstart your new year. Now, one of the greatest things you can do is to go back and look at 2018. Like, don't even, people, I'm going to go set new goals. Well, that's cool, but it's less effective. It doesn't work. Why? Because if you're still trying to set goals with the same habits, the same patterns, the same rituals, the same mindset that you had in 2018, and you have a lot of unworkable characteristics and a lot of unworkable things, you're going to carry those, and that's going to filter how you set your goals and how you approach 2019. So before you go set outcomes, take a look at where you're at and what you just did. Now, there's 4 simple questions I want to ask each one of you. And I ask these of my clients. I'm going to ask each one of you to really get your journal out. And if you're driving, go write these questions down and actually put some thought into it. So many people today, they do not want to do the work. They just want to listen to podcasts and listen to audiobooks and go ride the treadmill and hope. And then they just have this really wishy-washy hoping that, it just all works out. And look, in context, I love this thing called hope. See, in a spiritual or a religious context, hope is very important. In the business world, in a very practical, not talking about God, it just, you got to get out of this hoping mode. I just hope everything works out. It's really weak. And again, don't get the context mixed up. On one side, I understand the context of this thing called faith, hope, and charity, right? It's in the scriptures that I read, and I 100% believe it. And I also know that you've got to work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. You've got to do the work. So I want you to really take note of your 2018. And here's some questions, 4 questions I'm going to ask you right now. And I want you to just write these down. I'm going to give you examples so I can walk you through this first podcast of 2019 to help you to move your life forward, just to detest mediocrity, to have trust in the divine and trust in yourself, and to trust the divine and to trust yourself, and to trust the process and the principles by which we live by inside of the prosperity revolution. So question number 1. What in 2018, again, right? You got to look backwards. Let's go look back and see what happened, how did it work out, and et cetera, et cetera. But here's 4 easy questions to help you. First podcast of 2019. Let's go. Question number 1, write this down. Or if you're driving, just really think on it. What worked well? And look at the big 4. What worked well with your physicality? What really worked? We're not talking about what didn't work. What worked? What was great? What were some of the things that we can highlight, celebrate, and appreciate in the physicality? Did you exercise a lot? Did you lose weight? Did you get stronger? Did you increase your stamina and your endurance, your strength? Did you lose some lbs off of your waist? Or did you do an Ironman, a triathlon, a race? Did you incorporate fitness and fuel and exercise? What worked? Write and actually take time to write this down. Or don't just do it in your head. There's a reason why people who journal and write books and have records and blogs, We have this different insight because there's magic and there's power in writing things down. So what worked well in your physicality, in your spirituality, in your relationships, and in your business? What worked? What can we celebrate and appreciate? Celebrate and appreciate. Right? To celebrate is to acknowledge it for what it is. Like, wow, look what I did. I dated my spouse every week. I was more patient with my children. We had amazing memories with our family on vacations and family reunions. You know, I read more scriptures. I was more faithful in attending worship or church. We made more money, like we doubled our revenue, or we increased 30 or 40%. I hired or I fired. Like, again, take time to write down the answer to this question. What worked well? What worked? Physical, spiritual, relational, financial. Next question, number 2. Again, across the big 4. Question number 2, what did not work? And this is the big question now. Now that you've got hey, this worked well, take time to identify, become aware of. This didn't work. And this didn't work. Like, I didn't like how this ended up. I'm going to share with you some personal things in my own life just to help you guys see where I'm coming from. What did not work? Physically, man, I stayed about the same. You know, I was 280 when the year started. I was 300, so I put about 20 pounds on. I worked out consistently, I would say, on an average of 5 days a week, almost 6 days a week. But I was consistent in physically working out, stretching out. But what didn't work was I wasn't good with my eating. I didn't like that. In fact, I hate it. I don't like it. September's kind of fat right now. Let's just call it what it is. I'm about 293 pounds right now through the holidays. So good, I lost 10 pounds in December. And I've cut out sugar. And I'm really back on it, and I'm committed to 260 pounds. So what's not working? It's too fat. Spiritually, it was a wilderness of a journey for me. In the scriptures that I read, they always talk about these people in the wilderness. It's like this microcosm for us today, right? The wilderness was a time of testing. The wilderness was a time to grow, to rely upon God, to grow closer to God. And for September, it was a wilderness year for me. Yeah, I went to church every Sunday. We prayed every day with my family, you know, doing the church responsibility and doing the things that I believe will help me to come closer to my God and my Savior. But what didn't work was I wasn't the best at it. I could have been better. I didn't study my scriptures as diligently as I could have. I did not attend some of the places of worship as diligently as I could have. And that's going to change, which we'll get to in the next questions. Relationally, I can definitely be better with my wife and my kids. I can be more patient. I can be a 5-star daddy. I'd say this past year, I was probably like a 3.5-star daddy. There were glimpses, right? There were traces and flashes of 5 stars. As I read all this out for me, it just makes sense. It's like, man, I could be better. What didn't work? Being impatient, just yelling at my sons for really stupid things. Kids are going to fail. What didn't work? Not reading as much scriptures. What didn't work? Just being a little bit overweight. Actually, being a hell of a lot overweight. Let's call it what it is. Let's not even pretend, man. I'm not even going to pretend no more. Like, I'm going to 260, and then when I get to 260, I may go to 240. Like, I really want to get lean as possible. I got some big goals, but we'll talk about that in a moment. All right. And what didn't work in the business? I grew my team. I shrunk my team. I hired or fired. We paid a lot of money. I mean, a lot of money to consultants, to agencies, and they sucked. I'm just going to say it. Now, I say they sucked. If I was to use more powerful language, I would say it didn't work out the way we wanted it to work. It really didn't. Could have been better. And see, if you fail to be honest about this, if you continue to pretend and you're not real about where you're at, and you don't really acknowledge and celebrate what you've done, and then you don't acknowledge what's not working, 2019 is going to be the same year. Because old habits die hard, and the old self-gravity, it just keeps you stuck. So what didn't work for me? There's a lot of things. And again, very detailed. First question, what worked well? Second question, what did not work? And you got to take time to go really put this on paper. Now, I can promise you there's going to be 97% of you listening to this. You won't even do it. But I'm not concerned with you. I'm concerned with the 3% that's going to do it. So actually sit down, open up your journal, and I invite you, not even a Word doc or a Google Doc or a type pad, but really like open up a journal and handwrite this out, because it's going to be the basis of how you set your outcomes and your seasons for the new year. Third question. So question number 1, what worked? Question number 2, what didn't work? Question number 3, what's missing? What was missing from 2018? What was missing from your diet and from your exercise and your fitness and fuel and health? What was missing from your spirituality, your purpose? What was missing from your marriage and your children, your family, your relationships? And what was missing from your business? And I'm intentionally just going to leave some space in here. Like, you've got to take time to just really ask, what was missing? Write it down. If you create some space in your day, don't do this while you're watching TV. Don't do this while you're, multitasking, cooking dinner and trying to vacuum and do laundry and check emails. No, you block out a solid hour. Even 30 minutes. Just block it out uninterrupted. Put your phone on airplane mode, turn your browsers off, shut your screen down, and just sit in a clean environment. What's missing? What was missing? This is the best time to do this right now, because as you start to get into 2019, old habits, old self-gravity is going to take over. And we want to shift the old self-gravity to a new self-gravity, this new lift. And the final question number 4, what's next? This is like, what's next? What do you want? Why does it matter? What do you want? Why does it matter? This is the greatest way to start your 2019. So I invite you to go ahead and do that right now. Take some time and go through these 4 questions across the big 4: physical, spiritual, relational, financial. What's next? What's the outcome? Where do you want to be 12 months from now? So when it's 2020, it's January 2020, you can look back and say, I did it. I hit the outcomes. I made more money. I had more freedom of time. I was more patient. I was more happy. I was more spiritual. I was at peace. I was calm. I was present. I'm lighter and leaner and healthier. More connected to my God and to my purpose. What do you want? So 4 questions. What worked? What didn't work? What's missing? What's next? Take time to do this. I invite you to do it right now. And if you have not, go leave me a review on iTunes, please. That would make a difference to me. We want to get these. We're going to start ramping up the podcast. I love and appreciate you. God bless. Have a great new year. Let's go do the work together. Let's go live our greatest life, to test the mediocrity, get out of the old self-gravity, create new outcomes and vision and purpose. And I'm excited for the new year. Let's go. For more info on joining the revolution and living your greatest life of prosperity today, go to www.yourdailyrevolution.com and join us in waking up, turning your brain on, and prospering today.